Hey everybody, welcome to the show. How are you doing? It is a Tuesday, October 18th, 2022, and we are here. Foodie Beauty did a live stream last night, did another one today, a quick, was it called a quick live or quick bees? Let me make sure because I like being accurate. I was just actually looking at T Sass and Winifred Parks' latest video. I didn't really go over it too much because I just saw that she had a video. Okay, so it's called Quick Bees for Foodie Beauty. Streamed 4 hours ago. She hasn't been back. I think she's ramping things up, but we're gonna find out. Welcome everybody here. We got Penny Lane. We got Hankster. Hey Hankster, yes, another live. Hey Gemini, Two Other Times. Charlie's mom. We got V, Just like JC, Florida Pelita. Auroras, it ain't that runs in circles. Thaji, Clanto, what's up? We got who else is here? Oranges Poranges, welcome. Natsuki and everybody else just listening. So let's talk about it. Is Foodie Beauty back to her old habits? Or is she just doing this because maybe she was bored? Who knows? What do you do? What do you think? Jackie Hawkins, welcome to the chat. Yeah, she's very entertaining, and she brings sass, as her name implies, to the conversation. Lots of new people coming up and whatnot, which is rather refreshing. Hey, Ileana, how are you doing? Welcome. And yeah, still, Natter is nowhere to be found. Maybe he is laying low, or maybe he did get something done to his channel that will put him out more than 2 weeks. Because, like I said, a week ago, he was in court and he was not remanded into custody. Other than that, what else is going on? Not really much. We got Pete's has been live more often than usual. He's doing his thing. The last stream, I guess it was okay. It was called "Why I'm Boycotting." Well, that wasn't the last stream. That's the last video. But the last stream, okay, it was called Pete Stober Conspiracy Theory Live. And he has a new video, Why I'm Boycotting Disney. So maybe I should take a look at that. What do you guys think? Gemini says, I see no change in her at all except her scarf and voice still vile. Oranges says, she never changed and never will. Evil is forever. Ileana says she can't keep away. She is bursting at the seams to a big rage. Yeah, possibility of a rage is extremely high. Reminds me of an anime that I won't get into right now, or maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe we should vote. Okay. Anyways, let me put Pete's on. I want to know. Well, he's actually spoken about why he boycotts Disney, doesn't he? So maybe I'll look at that again. Who? Okay. All right. All right. I see something there. Okay. Let me put this on. We got your back, Chantel, says Lola. Really? You trolling me like this, Lola? Come on. All right, we're gonna put Pete's on because I'm interested to see what he has to say, and then after that, we're gonna talk some more. So let me put him on. Let's see what he has to say about Disney and whatnot, and we'll keep the conversation rolling. How about that? So here we go, Pete's 3 hours ago. Let's go. Hey,
Hey
Mary.
there, welcome to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to talk about something that I get asked
I think he's too low. I need to
pretty
adjust
much
my
every
volume.
time I go live. Uh,
All right, there we go.
why I am boycotting Disney. Boycott is probably honestly a bit grandiose, probably a bit overstating, but yeah, I
Funny how Pete's boycotts certain things and not others because I don't know, is Sprite not being boycott? Come on now. Freya says she's back to driving on edibles. She never changed. She will never even her weird voice is gone. Hi. Well, welcome, Freya. How are you doing?
don't support any Disney shit. Like I don't support any Disney stuff, and I don't buy any Disney products. I don't watch any Disney content. Um,
Right,
and
Gemini?
yeah, people always want to know why.
Yeah. Why?
Truth is, I've been uncomfortable with supporting Disney. Like I was uncomfortable supporting Disney for a long time because Disney doesn't have the best history or present.
Well,
Disney has
that's kind of true. In reality,
being
reality is
as
reality.
big as it is, being as massive a corporation as it is, Disney is generally pretty okay with skirting laws, breaking laws, writing laws.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're generally pretty okay with being kinda evil in a lot of ways.
Like any other
Um,
huge company.
and they always have been. We could start by talking about the sweat factories, the sweatshops, where a lot of Disney products are manufactured. Because yeah, Disney still uses sweatshop labor, where employees are, where the workers are
Wait a
get
second.
very little money and have to live in terrible conditions.
There was an actual article from The Guardian on that Disney's best-selling cars, toys are being made in a factory in China that uses child labor and forces staff to do 3 times the amount of overtime allowed by law.
At the factories,
That's
and
horrible.
yeah, Disney still does that. They haven't stopped doing that.
In fact, there are several articles dating back to even the mid and early 2000s about Disney and sweatshops in China.
They're not going to stop doing that because they make money. Uh, they make more money that way.
Oh, okay, Gemini. You were in
Pay
just
the
breezing.
people who make this stuff nothing and then sell the stuff for a lot. Uh,
That's kind of true, Freya. A lot of stuff is made in China.
Major corporations love doing that, and Disney's a major corporation, so they love doing it. So there's that. Really, really uncomfortable with that aspect of Disney and always have been. Um, Also, not a fan of their.
But aren't like lots of eyeballs like that as well? Where they employ like sketchy business practices and pretty much skirt around the law.
Copyright extensions. Because I think a couple of times, they've pushed for
Is it My Little Pony? Let me check.
bills to be passed that would extend copyrights, long past a point where it really even makes sense anymore. Except, where it makes sense for anything that's not a major corporation,
Hmm.
because that's what it is. Like they want to avoid the earliest Mickey Mouse cartoons going into the public domain. They
I checked and it seems My Little Pony is Hasbro Incorporated, which is the Hassenfeld brothers.
want to keep anything Disney owns. They want to have outside the public domain for as
Hey,
long as they
hey,
can,
Meeting an Orchid, what's up? Hey, Tiger Talks.
which I don't agree with. You know, I'm in favor of letting things fall into public domain. Obviously,
Um, I got a lot to say about that.
I'm totally
But
fine
let me
with the
stop.
families of.
You
Uh,
know what? This kind of talk would actually work well. Yeah, if he was boycotting all other subsidiaries, if he was doing this with everybody else and not picking and choosing who gets to be gone and who doesn't, right? Because that would make a lot of sense. Hey, Marcy, I see you in the back there. Give me about 10 minutes or so, and then we can have a conversation on anything and everything. Right now, we are just going over Pete's, but you're more than welcome to come back. She will say that the veterinarian said the cat needs to be euthanized, something like that. I really fear for BBJ. Disney could care less if Pete's is boycotting them. Very true. Very, very true. They're a
Uh,
huge company involved in so many things he probably doesn't know he's
Families
still
of
using.
creators
Hey, Blue Eyes.
uh, getting to enjoy the fruits of the creator's labor for a little bit longer. But Disney has extended to the point where it's just absurd at this point. Um,
Lady DMA says Disneyland California is known for not paying well, and many of their employees are on public assistance. However, they have no issue with raising the ticket prices. Exactly.
you know,
Okay, what is he reading?
life of the author plus 70 years or 120 years after creation.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's or 95 years after publication. It's a lot. It's a long ass time.
You know what? If Pete's wanted to really boycott Disney, do you know how much stuff he has to boycott? Like I'm looking at a list. He has to boycott ABC, ESPN at an 80% stake, Touchstone Pictures, Marvel, Lucasfilm, A&E 50% equity, the History Channel 50% equity, Lifetime 50% equity, Pixar, Hollywood Records, Vice Media 10% stake in Core Publishing. So that is a lot. We even have a map here. They're giving me a
And
map,
it doesn't need
people.
to be
A map.
that long. But
What? Even GoPro?
Disney pushes to have it done and or push to have it done so that they
No.
could prevent the early Mickey Mouse cartoons from slipping
Hulu?
into public domain for longer.
Even Vice, History Channel, A&E.
And I think they've,
That is a
I
lot.
believe that the earliest Mickey Mouse cartoons are right about to slip into public domain. So
Yeah,
we'll
tons of
see if
stuff.
Disney
Unavoidable.
gets the copyrights extended even longer
Hey,
again.
Allison.
Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if they try. So
I guess he just thinks anything in public domain is a win and not a loss. You know, sticking it to the man, sticking it to the corporate stakeholders and whatnot, sticking it to, I don't know, capitalism.
yeah, that's another thing that
I thought so as well, Freya.
not a fan of.
If you like Star Wars,
Um,
then I'm sorry to tell you, Pete's.
the sheer size of Disney
Lucasfilm.
makes me
That's
deeply
Disney.
uncomfortable, especially after the Fox acquisition.
Pixar. That's
There's
Disney.
legitimate antitrust concerns with the sheer scope of Disney at this point. Just the sheer scope of the market share that they control.
Was he really watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus?
It's
Hmm.
really, really not good. It gives them a lot of control over theaters and
Hey, PP, welcome.
it lets them push a lot of a lot of stuff that benefits them specifically and
Yeah, I mean, if he was really active in his intentions and his passions, as in, I'm really gonna boycott Disney and I'm gonna be active in trying to do something about them, then I take this a lot seriously. But he's not doing anything. Really
yeah,
not.
I'm not a fan of massive corporations in general.
So says the guy who drinks Sprite.
And Disney is one of the biggest, especially in entertainment. So there's, like I said, there is definite antitrust concerns.
Wait a second. So he wait. Let me think about something here. So he's okay with Sprite that is owned by Coca-Cola Company, which has the same amount, or in fact even more atrocities, especially when it comes to sweatshops and child labor all over the world. But he's okay with Coca-Cola doing it, but he's just not okay with he's just not okay with Disney. I mean, I've been hearing about Coca-Cola atrocities for decades. Decades. But yet he wants to run on Disney.
With Disney being the size they are, um,
They're huge though.
they're also
Huge
not
conglomerate.
always great to the people who create for them. Uh, to use as an example, the live action remakes of the
Hey American Girl,
Disney
welcome.
Renaissance animated films, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King,
Uh-huh.
Aladdin, Little Mermaid, all those films, the live action remakes of all those, part of part of why they are likely making those movies is because they can reuse the original scripts
Uh-huh.
without having to pay royalties to the people who wrote them. Uh,
Is that even
if
true?
they were to do a remake of Jaws, for example, then they would
Probably
have to
Mary.
pay the original Jaws scriptwriter again for that script.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way the rules work regarding scripts. Live action films, if you're doing a remake, if you're using the same script, you have to pay the
Yeah.
screenwriter again. You have to pay the screenwriter again. Not the case with animated films.
Oh, really?
Uh, with those ones, buy the script once, that's it, that's done. You can use that script as many times as you want, and you don't have to pay the screenwriter again, which is bullshit. Uh,
Let me look into
they're
that.
not even getting free tickets. The people who wrote the screenplays for all those classic animated films that are getting
From what I just read, that seems to be the case with animated films. You do not have to compensate the screenwriter with a remake. Yeah, he does know Penny.
live action remakes. They're not even getting free tickets to the premieres. Like they're not even getting free tickets to see the live action remakes. They're getting nothing. Disney's just taking their work.
But who made the rules though? Like, I mean, I feel bad for. Let me play devil's advocate here for a second. I feel bad for those people, but who's making the rules though? Why doesn't somebody change that? Can they change it? I'm sure they can change the law.
Reshooting it word for freaking
But isn't that a good business move that you save per se in that aspect?
word.
But then again,
And
yeah, Penny's like you signed a contract, right? And the contract stipulates that, yeah, as per animated films, they can reuse your work without having to pay you. But it's not like as a screenwriter, you're getting pennies, are you? Like, how much is a screenwriter paid? What's the.
giving them nothing for it, which is just really shitty of them. And speaking of shitty treatment of
Okay, the average scriptwriter as of 26th of September 2022 makes a salary range that falls between 54 to $85,000.
uh, of workers, holy crap! Marvel Studios is treating its treating its visual effects workers like crap.
Okay, so what are
They
they doing
are
with the visual
burning
effects?
through visual effects artists like they don't care.
True V.
They're trying to treat them as machines, and it's leading to
Very true, Penny. I think if you really look at it, it isn't though because they knew what the deal was when they sold it exactly. Like people, if you are upfront, like you know what the contract entails, you know that they can reuse your work. You can either accept the job or don't accept the job.
objectively visually worse products, but it's also driving people out of the industry. Uh, they're being given nowhere near enough time to make their product, to make the movies and the TV shows. Nowhere near. It's just
Exactly, Flordea. You're very
it's
right with
bad
that.
how they're treating the employees or how they're treating the visual effects workers. Uh, there's also the fact that back when they were making the live action Mulan,
Ooh,
they were
Mulan
doing it
now.
in China at a time where when the Chinese government was orchestrating a genocide against the Uyghur Muslims.
Oh, I guess he did get his
Disney
computer fixed.
sure didn't seem to have a problem with that going on. They were
Another idea, you're right, Penny. He's part of no industry, but yet he's complaining the most. Hey, Just Deb.
totally okay with filming in China and trying to appeal to the Chinese market when the Chinese government was freaking killing people. Like
But who else was in China appealing to the Chinese government? There are thousands, tens of thousands of companies doing that. Now, I'm not trying to take away from his point. I'm just saying that he's singling out one company that was doing something, and maybe they didn't, put their focus towards what was happening with those individuals. But then there's tons of other companies, big or maybe a little bit smaller, that were not paying attention to those people. Now, I'm not saying they don't need to be paid attention. What I'm saying is that he's singling out one company as if they're in control of the world, but they're not. Like, what was Disney gonna do for or to the Chinese government to like sway them? Because from my understanding of things, China, they just do what they want to do,
was
basically.
actively committing genocide.
At any point, China can close their doors because they have done it before. Some people don't know, but China opened their doors. When did they actually go to the World Trade Organization? Wasn't it like in 1999 or something like that? For China was closed off for how many years until they opened its doors to the rest of the world? But yet he's focusing on Disney as if Disney can move mountains. Maybe they can. Hey, Abby W. But he's just bitching and complaining about Disney doing something. Like, Disney is not an activist company. Like, I'm sure they can sway, but is that what Disney is all about? Disney is about entertainment. Now, I've heard of what was happening in China. Exactly, Florida. China is a huge trading
So
partner for tech parts for many
yeah,
countries.
there's just
And like I've always said before, if you want to talk like this, maybe you should start at home with the social justice warrior stuff because you have somebody that is doing the most with a lot of things, but yet he doesn't speak on her. Not at all. But yet he's speaking on this. Hey, Amy Judy. Exactly, Auroras.
there's just a lot about it, a lot about Disney that is
Lola says silence is complicit. It starts with one, and even if it doesn't make a big change, it starts the ball rolling to get people talking, and awareness is ground zero when making political changes. Okay, you know what? You got a point there, Lola. I'm not actually. I can't even argue that. That's a very well-rounded argument. Yeah, doing nothing at all or silence is actually akin to action because you doing nothing, like I've said with my quote, is the equivalent of you doing the most, because the worst thing you could ever do is do nothing. But how do we know that Disney wasn't doing anything? Yeah, China can more or less sustain
That
themselves.
really makes me
Hey, Welch.
uncomfortable supporting them.
Daphne, the panel is open. We're just going to finish this off and then we're going to get to talking about other things.
And I don't want to support them anymore.
Okay, then don't.
It's just that simple. I'm
Okay, so I was off by 2 years. China's participation in the World Trade Organization was the 11th of December 2001. I thought it was 99, but it was actually 2001.
not comfortable supporting Disney anymore, considering their history and considering the stuff they still pull. I mean, you know, I'm not saying that other people are bad
I don't know why he's on slow mo, Scout Finch. He's
if
just
they do still
talking.
enjoy Disney stuff because Disney puts out good content.
They do.
Disney knows what it's doing.
They're changing the game in
There's a
terms of
lot of
film.
incredible incredible work being released by Disney. So I'm not going to judge people who
Very true American
want to
Girl.
continue enjoying those things because the world's a complicated place and
His ponies are made in China? Probably.
it's not easy to it's not easy to take moral stands on every single goddamn thing when there's so much going on. So
What he needs to do is take a moral stance on that Sprite there, buddy. Coca Cola. What has Coca Cola been doing to the world? What about those atrocities? Picking and choosing companies there,
yeah,
Pete's. Just boycott everything.
absolutely no shame in continuing to watch Disney stuff, to subscribe to Disney Plus and go to their movies and whatever. Absolutely no judgment from me. It's just something that I decided I am no longer comfortable doing myself.
Okay, I can respect that. Boy, let's
So
boycott one company.
there it is. So that's my explanation.
Right, Mary? That's what I'm saying. How about those Kit Kat bars he
I'm sure I'll
likes?
have to explain it plenty more times and more lives, but at least now I can point to this video.
Nestle Canada makes
Um,
Kit Kat. What have they done
Regardless, thanks for
to the
watching,
world? I'm sure it's been something.
and I'll see you next time.
So Freya is like, yes, Hasbro is fun for all, made in China. All right, let me reopen. I'm gonna invite people if you want to come up, come up. We had Marcy. Marcy, if you want to come back, my apologies. I just had to get through that without any interruptions. But if you want to talk about that, if you want to talk about the whole Coca-Cola thing with Pete's, because Coca-Cola is also a huge company. Have we covered the Chantodler Ragin yet? Raging when? Like today, yesterday? It was kind of like a super, I don't know, like a mini rage, minor rage, talking about her man and whatnot. There's some chart out there that shows all things eventually belong to 5 or 6 mega companies, pretty much. All right, we got Marcy. Marcy, I see you. If you want to turn off your cam, turn it off. If not, then leave it on if you want to. I'll give you a few seconds to turn it off. Also, let's keep it clean, people. Let's not trauma dump or anything like that. Let's talk respectfully. Let's not try and trigger people. So I'm going to add you now, Marcy. Once again, turn off your cam if you want to. Hello.
I'm first lane.
Really? 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 All right, we're gonna continue. Grown adults, huh? Really? After the warning, I need to start over. No, we're not gonna start over. We're gonna continue. The maturity of people. Trying to have a good panel here, and people are doing this. All right, we're gonna continue, okay? So if you wanna come up, please come up. I don't think that was the real Marcy, but that was extremely rude and immature. Extremely rude and immature for somebody to do that. No, we're good. I'll cut it out later. But anyways, let's continue with this conversation. I don't think that was the real Marcy. That was the real one, says Freya. I don't think so. But anyways, let's continue with this conversation. The immaturity of people in this niche here, allegedly adults doing this sort of stuff. They did the same thing on Veronica's stream. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right, well, you know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna black that out there, but we're gonna continue. Let's keep talking. Arab had got you. Really? It's Arab? Oh, jeez. Anyways, let's keep talking. It's all good. Yeah, she was on camera at first, but I think somebody might have recorded it. I gotta look into that. It was her. Yikes. Still, I am like, really, people, come on. Let's be mature here. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what we want to talk about, which is what I'm here for. Like, this is not cute. It's not funny. It's actually disgusting and sick to be bombing people's streams like that when we're trying to have a civil conversation and trying to invite people up that want to talk their piece. But hey, anybody else is welcome to join. Yeah, like act like real people. Stop acting so immature because it's not funny at all. It's really not. Because I'm here to have a conversation with people in the community, and then we get people trying to bomb all the time, and it's just not cute and it's not funny, and you're just completely immature. Right, exactly. We're gonna have to have more protocols here. Yeah, why is a booty hole even funny? It's all good. It happens, it happens. But let's continue. If you want to come up, we'll come up, but we're gonna have some more protocols here. Right, most toes, exactly. But we're gonna do something here. Anyways, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Um, so Foodie Beauty was in a mood today. The face was scarier than The Exorcist. Right, JG? Just haters. I mean, come on. But yeah, I say as a beezer, I get your frustrations against reaction channels, but your message gets lost when you troll. It's more effective if you have a civil conversation and give your perspective exactly. Yeah, well, Billy Z, maybe that's kind of hard. Silent Witness says, Monty, is it true they are not allowing people in Kuwait? Yeah, from what I heard, like the whole visa thing is, you can't get a visa, it's been suspended. Right, Lynn Smith, not the welcome I was expecting either. Civility is sparse around here. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are sparse around here. We're calling this the breakdown of the verse. She was talking about a 3-month visa today. She was saying that Canadians have some sort of exception. 3-month visa. Let's check this out. Canada 3-month visa, Kuwait. I haven't even looked this up. But she was saying that Canada has some sort of exception, even though I thought that visa applications were suspended. You know what? I got to look further into it. Freya says you can travel to Kuwait now. As of when? Okay, let me Google that. Traveling to Kuwait. Because there's traveling to Kuwait. Let's see. Last updated, okay, on the 14th. Sonny Bizzle says, I think some people have lost their minds and the things they think is funny is totally not. It's actually gross and cry for a look at me. Yeah. You saw it on the news a week or so ago? Okay, I'll look more into it. Because the last time I heard that visa applications were suspended. But I'll look more into it. Wait, visa applications. Whether or not the problem is, does she have the guts to apply and actually go over there? That's another one of the things. You have to pay to be a member. Everyone knows it, right, Lisa B? Tourist visa can stay no longer than 90 days. Yeah, I did see that. But yeah, is she going to go over? Let's actually do a vote here. Let's carry the conversation another way. Let's do a vote. A poll. Will Foodie Beauty go to Kuwait? Yes or no? Straight yeah. Actually, you know what? Let me add in the maybe. Anyone that pays Chantel to be abused is crazy. Let's even talk about that. Like, why are their beezers actively paying? Is it to troll? Do you really like her? I'm thinking it's mostly trolls. People are trolling. I have American friends getting visas there when right now most toes or previously. Let her go over and let them choose the country. True. But anyways, do I expect Foodie Beauty to be on tonight? It's a high possibility she's gonna be on. I think she loves that attention that she gets. I think she craves that attention that she gets. You hope she goes to Kuwait and never comes back. Yikes. I mean, it's a dangerous world as well as an amazing world out there. So we'll have to see. I think if she goes over there, she better be careful because sometimes it's going to be hard coming back home. Exactly, wide awake. I think the attention stuff is going to be an issue for her. Like I've said, I'm actually surprised that she lasted this long. I would have thought after a day, maybe two, she'd be back to the regular scheduled programming of streaming. But she kept it up for a few days. She kind of cracked. Then she kept it up for another few days, cracked, and now A day or two later, she's back again, then again. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how much longer she can stay away because also it's her income. This is how she makes her money. She could still make those videos. You want Foodie to go to Kuwait? Anything is better than the content she's been putting out. Exactly. Is this how she's moving to real? Good question, Cypher. All right, vote now, everybody. Let's see. Will Foodie Beauty go to Kuwait? And about 7/10 of you say no. Okay, JG says according to Google Travel, Kuwait is open. Okay, so maybe it has changed in the past couple of days. She has another source of income right now, but she's keeping that hush. Do you really think she has another source of income? I don't know about that because she's kind of iffy on that. She was like, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. All right, well, vote now. Tell me what's up. Will FB actually go to Kuwait? And then we can talk about this other income source because a lot of people have varying speculations from TV shows to what her grandmother left her to her. I don't know what else was there. Getting money through her account. I've heard a lot of things. Mousto says no other source in my opinion. In my opinion, I think that as well. Penny believes that she will be arrested. The rules are so strict there. Exactly. As the saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Ileana says if she does go, she'll need diapers for the long flight. Well, I guess she might get an aisle seat then. Camby says, I'm thinking grandma may have had a little money for her after a year. Maybe. That's a possibility. We can vote on that. In fact, let's end this vote. Will Foodie Beauty go to Kuwait? 7/10 of you say no. The rest is like yes or maybe. So most of you are saying no. So, what is this new source of income? We're gonna put TV show. What's the next one? TV show. We also have some sort of scam. What else do we have here? Uh, Gmas. Gmas. Supported by Salah. You really think supported by Salah? And hell no, no way. It just doesn't make any sense. You think she's working on grandma's money? But then why haven't we heard about this? I think we would have heard about this a long time ago. Judging and knowing that she judging and knowing scam. Okay, I'm gonna change this scam to bank account. Judging and knowing how she is, she can't keep a secret. I didn't know about that. All right, so what is this new source of income? Mary says, I think it's all a lie and she has been with Nader all this time and they are scamming us all together, making us believe this reality that will inevitably end in all of them living together. But then what's the point what's the point? Come on. How are they going to get paid? That's what I'm thinking now. How are they going to get paid? Because at the end of the day, wouldn't it be about money? Today she says Salah pays for everything. That made no sense exactly for you. Made no sense. But vote. Vote no. Let me hear what you all think about this situation. Lisa B says Chantel will never be the best version of herself because she is a narcissist and thinks she's already there. Yeah. hmm I think that I've said this before. I'm going to keep saying it again. She feels as if there is nothing wrong, nothing to work on. Scoutfin says she said if she has no income, Salah will support her. So she thinks, so she believes. Okay, we'll go with that. So judging by the votes, actually it's pretty close. Scams through a bank account, grandma's money, something else, pretty close. Vote now. Abby W says her loyal abusers will continue to enable and make excuses for her until she eats herself to death. Yeah. ODs on whatever drugs she's on or winds up in a really messed up situation. I think the messed up situation is becoming more and more pronounced because the whole Natter situation was already bad. And then we have this situation right now. The mansion situation, people are worried that she might get scammed. There's so much going on that you would think she'd take more due diligence when she does so many things. You would think so. But we shall see what happens. But yeah, we can just throw things out there and see what sticks. Like I said, I give it about 2 weeks until something happens. But we shall see. Is Nader in jail? No, he's not. He's not in jail, as far as I know. Or at least he's not in jail because we saw him on the 12th, almost a week ago, and he wasn't in jail. He showed up for court on the 12th. Wide Awake says she was just sleeping with a married dude and crying over Nader like last week, and look at her now, exactly early October, posting collages about Nader, missing Nader, saying that she misses him, she wants him. Then all of a sudden she's on a ferry because she saw a Forex guy, Forex married guy. And then all of a sudden she's now with Salah. I'm like, wow, she moves fast. She gets more dates than I do. Holy crap. She gets more dates than what's that guy? What's that comedian from New York? Pete Davidson? Yes, she gets more dates than Pete Davidson. I'm like, what's going on here? Are you serious? She's getting more dates than Pete Davidson. Of all people. But hey, if she's doing her thing, she's doing her thing. She knows how to hustle. She knows how to well, actually no, not really. Because the type stuff, it's quality over quantity here. Because she's paying for them? Well, yeah, if you're paying for them, then sure, why not? Scoutfin says she takes whatever she can get. True. She even has a pool. Ottawa and Montreal. Could even put Cornwall in there, but I don't think she likes Cornwall that much. Even though I always say there's literally nothing wrong with Cornwall. Nothing. What's wrong with Cornwall? I like Cornwall. I would live in Cornwall. Nada says, I think someone is making merch and she gets the proceeds. Actually, people have been making Foodie Beauty merch for years now. If you actually Google it, Foodie Beauty merch has been out. Somebody or some people, persons, have been making Foodie Beauty merch for years. And it's just not Foodie Beauty. So people have been profiting from her name for the longest time. It's just that she hasn't been doing it. You like Pete Davidson on SNL? She's hustling all the men. Yeah, she is. Yikes, American Girl, really? Does she get proceeds? No, she doesn't get anything. It goes to whoever is using her likeness and imagery to make those material. Like really, look, Google it right now. There's merch out there. Foodie Beauty merch is just not from Foodie Beauty. Yeah, she could have made a good chunk of money selling merch yearly, to be honest with you, but she just didn't. Yeah, another avenue of income not being done. Melanie Sass coming in. Pete Davidson's tattoos make him look like a toilet wall in a dive bar. Still like him though. Come on, are you hating on Pete Davidson? I thought it would be a clever way for her to get paid without actually having to do something. Exactly, Nana. It would be. Well, she has to do a little bit minimum, but it's practically print on demand. POD type of industry you'd be in would be a really good idea to get your game up, get some extra income doing whatever. Elmer Fudd says, Monty, don't you think if she had money from her grandma, she would pay her taxes with it? Um, Possibly, yeah. Maybe she would, but I don't think she would. I think her priorities are backwards. I think she would use it for something else. I mean, she should have been saving her money, but yet she was giving it away before. Yeah, she did talk about merch multiple times. I know. I think people are just using her name to just use her name. A fish by any other name. Chantel. Yeah, she to do merchandise or postcards or pics signed by her. Too much. Yeah, people are even on TikTok. I heard her TikTok is like her TikTok is one of the videos is viral with like 30 million views or something like that on TikTok of her. In fact, there's multiple TikToks about Foodie Beauty. If you go on TikTok, there is tons of stuff out there on Foodie Beauty. She's her own little niche on there right now. I think, yeah, once reality hits Ileana, then things are gonna really sound off. Do we really know she has not paid her taxes before? Because I gave her something to talk about for a while. Because it gave her some. I think she hasn't really. There's people who just don't file because they don't have the time. Things come up, they just don't want to. But then you kind of end up in a rut, and it happens to a lot of people. Yeah, people are delinquent on their taxes all the time. It's happened to a few of people I know where they might have missed a year because things happen in life, and then you can't get to file, then you forget about it, and then it rears its ugly head. A couple years later, and then you're in shit about it. Like anything can happen. It's so hard with her because she lies about so many things, mainly for shock value. Yeah, that's another thing. The dishonesty. She was so much nicer and honest in the past. It was so refreshing watching those throwbacks because she could just say whatever she wanted without fear of reprisal, backlash, so many things. What is this about Ezra Miller facing 26 years in prison? Hey, that ain't good. I do not think she's gonna pay anything unless she really has to. But that's just my opinion. Nada, yeah, like I said, it's very hard to gauge or figure things out. But I think once we're getting closer to the end of October, I think it's gonna get real for everybody in that household to see whether or not they're actually gonna leave or are they gonna stay or are they actually truly really kicked out. But then again, if you're gonna tell people or tell your management company you're leaving, that means you're leaving. She lived with BB 7 years, being in villa only 2 years. Very true. Very, very true. She actually thinks she can write off all these takeout food on her taxes for business. She can. She can write them off, but you have to keep. It's better to keep your receipts and everything. And that's one of the problems. She's not keeping a strict record because as part of her business, like she could write off that share, food, even some of the rent, because her job is, her place is part of her business. Her car is also part of her business. There's a lot of things she can actually write off. Hey, Edna, I see you. I would really want to put you on, but I think I might have to end this short because I gotta black certain things out. So maybe next time, Edna, I'm sorry to say this to you, but I can't really keep this running that long because there's certain things I gotta go black out because of immature behavior from what I would perceive as adults doing what they're doing, trolling channels. She was nervous in her last video. Well, I guess so. But yeah, you people eat their dinner and stream because it counts. True, Jamie C. But we'll see. I wouldn't put it past her, like I said, to come back on tonight. Anything can happen. Maybe tomorrow. She's surprising me these days because it was in a throwback and she came on. Other than that, what else is there? Nothing else. But hey, everybody, we'll wrap this up right now. I gotta do some stuff on this live stream when it renders into a video. So please smash that like button. Maybe tomorrow, Edna, we can do something. We can pick each other's brains tomorrow and figure things out. Other than that, we'll see if she comes back on, what mood she's in, and whatever. I know this is kind of short. It sucks. But I don't know. Maybe I'll come back on my third channel. Maybe I'll saute some mushrooms or something. I have everything to saute mushrooms. Maybe I'll do that. I was thinking of actually doing that tomorrow, but I might do that tonight. So I will figure things out while we're here. No worries, Nada. You're not late because you can always watch the replay. But thank you so much, everybody. And I would appreciate that smash the like button. And yeah, write off your groceries exactly. Have a good night, Abby. Have a good night, everybody. And those of you lovely people listening, have a good night as well. I am out. I'll be back if anything of substance comes around. Other than that, I am gone. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.